Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. Welcome to another week of 10 with Tom, and it's good to see everyone this morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Hard to believe that we're moving into week 7 of this, but we're still standing. We're still doing all right, so hang in there. We're on our way. Number of things we can talk about today. First of all, had a good Zoom meeting Saturday night. I wanted to let everybody know that we are going back to youth group time. So starting this week, Sunday night at 5 o'clock, we will get together for our Zoom meeting, and that'll take place this Sunday, 5 o'clock, and we'll get all the information out to you later this week. It'll go from 5 to 6, and of course Reverb's doing theirs from 6:30 to 7:30, and so that way we can all hang together at some point on Sunday if we'd like to do that, and so we'd love to have you guys join us on Sunday night as we gather together. Second thing, Family Feud. If you were in church yesterday, you heard my message about Are You Ready? Well, we've noticed that certain people are certainly ready when Family Feud comes up each day at 10 o'clock. Among those certain people are Miss Sherry and Ryan McCauley. It seems like they're always the first ones on the trigger. And so we're going to take that Are You Ready message a little seriously into our game. And so for the next few days, we're just going to mix it up. And so at random times throughout the day, the question will pop up. So hopefully everybody else can get on there quick, and in case your trigger finger isn't quite as fast as Ryan and Sherry's, but that way it'll give you more of a chance. Because right now, Ryan and Sherry are running away with this game. But there's still hopefully a lot of time for people to catch up, and it's fun to see everybody playing, and I think we had over 40 responses yesterday, and so we're having some fun with that, so keep watching for that. And so sometime today, question 4 will pop up, so be looking for it, be ready. I also want to thank Ryan for his help with yesterday's service, reading the scripture and participating with me in the children's message. I heard some great comments from some folks on what a great job you did yesterday, Ryan, and so thank you very much. We appreciate you doing that. Our question for today has to do with spies. I don't know what kind of movies you like, but one of my favorite movies to watch when there's nothing else on is Spy Kids. I don't know why I like it. I just think Spy Kids is a fun movie. And so the question for today was, if you were a spy, what would your code name be? So give that some thought. Let us know in the comments what your code name would be if you were a spy. I bet there's some creative code names out there. So have some fun with that. Now, I'm a little disappointed in everybody. You see, on Saturday, I was telling the story about a girl named Amy who got sick, and we had to rush her to the emergency room in the middle of the night. And we talked about that lightning bolt that Jesus hit me when I realized how much he loved us, that he was willing to take our place for sin. And so you might remember that story. And when the story ended Saturday, I left it without telling you what happened to Amy. And nobody asked, oh, don't you care about Amy? It's so sad. But if you were wondering, no, we didn't forget about Amy. Amy did come through okay. We were in the hospital till close to 5 o'clock in the morning. They found out that she not only had a sinus infection, but she had an allergic reaction to something. I don't remember now if it was the pollen or what in South Georgia. But they were able to give her a shot and give her some stuff that she was able to take. And so we got her home, or back to the school anyway, at about 6 o'clock in the morning. And after a full day of sleep, by Thursday, she was ready to go, and she had a great rest of the week. And so it all turned out well for Amy. In fact, Amy was a lot of fun when we had our youth group. One of my favorite Amy stories, we were driving on a mystery tour. And of course, I know you guys love mystery tours, and so I've been doing mystery tours for a long, long time. And so on this morning, we were on a mystery tour, and we're in the van, and she's riding shotgun, and the guy in the back seat was eating strawberries out of a Ziploc bag. And so at one point, we went around a curve, and he dropped the strawberry, and it rolled all the way up the floor of the van. And Amy saw it roll up next to her, and so she picked it up, and she's like, what's this? And of course, everybody starts laughing. It's a strawberry. And so a voice from the back yells, "Hey, Amy, you gonna eat that?" And she's like, "No way. You have no idea where this floor has been." think about that for a minute. Everybody started laughing, and she's like, what? What? Obviously, we all know where the floor's been. The floor's been in that van forever. I think what she meant to say was, you don't know who all's walked on this floor. You don't know what's all on this carpet. We all understood what she meant, but we gave her a hard time about that. And my other favorite Amy story happened at her high school graduation. After she graduated from high school, went down on the field. She and several of her classmates were in our youth group, and we got them all together. But when she saw me down on the field, she came running over and gave me a hug and burst into tears. I looked at her and I said, Amy, what's wrong? Why are you crying? This should be the happiest day of your life. And she said, I'm a failure. I said, what are you talking about? You're a failure. She goes, you're still not married. So she had taken on it herself to find me a wife. And she never succeeded in that, but she's not a failure, because obviously a little while later I met Deb, and we're in that happily ever after phase. And so Amy was definitely not a failure. And last I heard, she was married and has a son and is still living in the Pittsburgh area. And so Amy's fine. So thanks for not asking. Now, if you were in our family table talk last night, if you guys have been doing this, it had a lot to do with doubts. And it was talking about Thomas. And I get a lot of grief about Thomas, because Thomas was the doubter. And it's like, dude, why can't you just listen to Jesus and take him at his word and believe? And so after Jesus appears to the disciples, he appears to everyone, but Thomas isn't there. And so this is where we pick up our story in John chapter 20, starting at verse 24. Now Thomas, called Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we've seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were, I just won't believe it. He wanted to put his hand into Jesus' side, and there's no way he's buying this thing until he's got absolute proof. It says, a week later, the disciples were in the house again, and this time Thomas was with them. And though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. And Thomas said to him, my Lord and my God. And Jesus told him, because you have seen me, you have believed. But blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. But the cool thing about this story that was relayed to us in our family table talk last night is that Jesus didn't condemn Thomas because he doubted. He understood, and he met Thomas right where he was. And he said, I understand. So here, look at the holes in my hands. Look at where I was pierced in the side. And he meets Thomas where he is and removes those doubts from Thomas. And like Thomas, I think we all have doubts from time to time. I know there have been times where I've doubted things. And every time that's happened, when I go to God, he's there. He meets me where I am. And I know he does the same for you. And so don't be afraid of your doubts. Keep giving them over. Keep asking questions. Keep reading. Keep learning. Let God meet you right where you are. A doubt is not denial. A doubt is a part of our growing. So, remember that. Don't give up when you have those times of doubt. Know that God understands and that he'll meet you right where you are. So, that's our lesson for this morning. And tomorrow I've got another Amy story. It's not about the same Amy, but it's from the same trip. And that one's also going to connect with a disciple and a swimming pool. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning for 10 with Tom. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. See ya.